What's up, guys?
What's up, guys?
What's up, guys? So, Beauty and the Beast, Kong, Skull Island, Logan,
Episode 8, Last Jedi
The
teaser
best
trailer.
love letters to Hollywood that we've
This
ever
film
seen.
is a masterpiece. So, until the next time, goodbye.
Thor Ragnarok is the latest installment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's the third installment in the Thor franchise, the sub-franchise, and it's the follow-up to Thor the Dark World, which I haven't seen, but apparently people think that's one of the worst Marvel films, actually. So Marvel decided to go a different route with Thor Ragnarok. They went a more comedy-centric route, and they've done that with Guardians of the Galaxy. Volume 2 came out earlier this year. Spider-Man Homecoming was essentially an action comedy. So Marvel have basically released 3 action comedies this year. And honestly, I think it's a really good change of pace for this franchise. Marvel needed to change something up, because if they kept doing the same sort of thing, people would get tired of the same old superhero film. They needed to inject some new life into the franchise, and Thor Ragnarok does that really well. The film is directed by Taika Waititi, who's directed What We Do in the Shadows and Hunt for the Wilder People. He knows comedy, and his direction really shows in this film. He does the comedy so well. You can definitely tell that it's his film. Marvel have been doing that. They've been allowing their directors to really express themselves in their films, and he directs the comedy really well, but also the action spectacle is really good. There's this huge gladiator scene between Hulk and Thor, which you've seen in the trailer, and you really get the huge sense of epic spectacle, and that's one of the best action scenes in the whole film. All the performances across the board are great. Chris Hemsworth is great as Thor, and Tom Hiddleston as Loki. You really get the banter, the bickering between these two brothers, and they both show that they can do comedy. Chris Hemsworth, if you've seen the Team Thor skits before the film came out, he knows how to do comedy. Mark Ruffalo is also great as Bruce Banner and Hulk. Tessa Thompson comes in as Valkyrie, and one of the best aspects of the film is that chemistry and team interplay between those 4 characters. Also, I have to mention, Taika Waititi motion captures a character called Korg, and if you've seen the film, you know how absolutely hilarious this guy is. He is so funny. I was dying, honestly. Every time he's on screen, he says something so funny. Korg is the standout character of this film. Jeff Goldblum as the Grand Master, he's having such a fun time, and he's doing really over-the-top Jeff Goldblum-isms, like all his tics and his funny laughs and things. He's so funny in the film, and you can just see that he's having a great time with a really fun, over-the-top performance. Cate Blanchett as Hela, that's something I want to talk about a bit later on. She also has fun with the role. It's sort of an over-the-top campy villain, but she also plays into what I think is one of the flaws of the film. But the visuals, the soundtrack, the fast pace, the retro vibe, the heart between the two brothers, all the performances, the comedy, it's all great. As for flaws, I thought in the beginning there were some choppy tonal shifts. It goes from comedy with Thor to Odin to family troubles to the rise of Hela. Similar to the issue that I had with the beginning of Rogue One, the film bounces from scene to scene and it never really settles down, and it's a bit choppy in the beginning. Now, Cate Blanchett has a really good time playing Hela, and she puts in a good performance, but I felt that she wasn't that connected with the rest of the plot. For the vast majority of this film, it feels like 2 very different films going on. On one side, you've got Thor and Hulk in the fun buddy action comedy with Tessa Thompson and Jeff Goldblum on Sakaar, the gladiator planet. And then in the other side, you've got Hela taking over Asgard with Karl Urban's character Scourge, you know, rising up, taking power, enslaving the people of Asgard. And it just felt like 2 very different films. And the film jumps between those 2 different storylines, and they never really meshed that well until the end of the film. Also, I thought that the mesh of action, comedy and drama wasn't done as well as it was in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 or Spider-Man Homecoming. I would say out of those 3 films this year, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is by far my favourite. If you saw my review, you'd see how much I enjoyed the theatre experience and how much I love that film. Spider-Man Homecoming was also really good. Both those films also had better villains. Honestly, Hela in this film isn't that bad. She just feels a bit underdeveloped, and they could have done more with her character. But honestly, overall, this film is really fun. I had a great time watching it. It's a really nice change of pace for Marvel. I really like the comedy-centric route that they're taking their films. Chris Hemsworth is great as Thor. He really sells it in the comedy scenes and the action scenes. Taika Waititi does a great job directing. All the performances are great. The visuals, the action, it's all spot on. It does have some flaws, like I mentioned. I'm going to give Thor Ragnarok a B+. It's a really fun and entertaining film, and definitely go and watch it. You've got this film out, you've got Justice League out, Also, I've got my Murder on the Orient Express review out, and you can watch that if you want to. This is a really fun time for films coming out. You've got all the Oscar films coming out, you've got some good superhero films, and it's a really nice blend of blockbuster films and more less mainstream Oscar films coming out. All in all, it's going to be a very exciting time for films coming up. I really enjoy these months nearing the end of the year. We've got Last Jedi in less than a month. I cannot wait for that. I've got my tickets for opening night. I'm so pumped for that. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Thor Ragnarok and some other things. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever you want to do, and until the next time, goodbye.